from Satellite Bowl in Dearborn Heights, Michigan, USA Network presents the Professional Bowlers Tour. And tonight, it's the $100,000 Greater Detroit Open. And these are the 5 finalists. In 5th place is Gary Skidmore of Albuquerque, New Mexico, who has won 2 PBA titles in 3 years as a touring pro. The 4th place finisher, Bruce Carter, is bowling in his 2nd championship round of the year, but is still looking for his 1st title. Qualifying 3rd is Tommy Hudson, who is trying to break a terrible hex that has troubled him all year, preventing him from winning his 11th title. In 2nd place is Brian Voss from Tacoma, Washington. He's had a strong week, averaging .216, and that puts him in a good position to win his 1st title. And the man they'll be shooting at this week's leader is Pete McCordick, who would have to be the emotional favorite, having spent 11 years bowling without winning a title. The $100,000 Greater Detroit Open on USA is being brought to you in part by 2 bowlers. Bruce Carter, 27 years old, from Round Rock, Texas, still looking for his 1st PBA title. He's on your right. Gary Skidmore, who won last year on USA in the Aquafest Mr. Gaddy's Open. He's 28 years old from Albuquerque, New Mexico, looking for his 3rd PBA title. He is on the left. As we continue the fall tour in the 25th anniversary year of the Professional Bowlers Association. It is the first time that the pro bowlers have stopped here at the Satellite Bowl in Dearborn Heights, Michigan. And 5 bowlers are left.
We're bowling on lanes 75 and 76. And it appears that lane 75 hooks just a little bit more than 76. Skidmore playing around the 14th board on lane 75. Starts out with a perfect strike. Again, we have a tremendous vantage point right behind the players, and we can see exactly where they're playing. Skidmore has a little shuffle step that we can't see there, and then basically it's a 4-step free swing, good long slide, great follow-through. That's the best part of his game, is his follow-through.
Now to Bruce Carter, 4th championship round appearance of '83, still winless.
And Carter will take that for his 1st shot. The right lane, again, appears to be just a hair tighter. He's been striking very well in practice. Leaves just the 2-pin, comes in light. Bruce throws an explosive ball. When he gets it in the pocket, he can really strike.
Ironically, Skidmore's 2nd title came in Bruce Carter's hometown, Austin.
At the 2-pin, makes it on the left. He stuck just a little bit at the line that time.
Bruce was having some problem with the friction in the soles of his feet earlier, and they seem to have straightened it out. At that time, he even seemed a little bit concerned with his footing.
Moves over to lane 75. Bruce is using a plastic ball as opposed to Skidmore using a ball that he has not used all week long. Round the 12th board, sends it out, it's coming in light again. This time the 2-pin has company. It has the 8 with it. Bruce just a little nervous to start the match out.
Mike, how did you find the lanes this week? How did you find the lanes this week?
Well, I thought the lanes were very fair condition. I played right around the 2nd arrow most of the way through and wound up finishing 27th. I thought it was a very fair condition. That Bruce Carter bowled on my right. He bowled very well. And Skidmore throws the ball straighter. He bowled well. So there were a lot of different shots. There were some left-handers in the finals. And he does not convert the 2-8, giving Skidmore a lead right away.
Open frame for Bruce Carter. And already he trails by 13 pins. And then after only 1 frame, here's your leader, Gary Skidmore. Skidmore's won 2 PBA titles, as we've said. He won the Miller High Life Classic this year and the Aquafest Mr. Gaddy's Open last year.
Around the 13th board. Ooh! The 9-pin was up there. Something was up there. A pin came off the wall and hit. It was a solid hit. Should have gone down the 1st time. Skidmore gets off to a flying start.
Good pin action.
Tremendous pin action. We get a look to see what was standing. Watch the follow through. As a pin came flying off the wall and got that 9-pin.
And the lead has increased to 23 on the double.
and can increase to 33 if he gets one more.
Gary's won just a little over $56,000 this year.
Excellent year for him. Right over the third arrow that time. A little tight. He'll take it. He was a little short of his target. Didn't get it out to the 14th board that time. Left the 4-pin.
I didn't see what pin it was, but something almost hopped out of the channel and knocked that pin down.
Yes, it did. It was a 2-pin that almost came out and got it. Gary is a good spare shooter. You shoot cross lane at the 4-pin, hard and straight at it.
What a likable guy Gary is.
Yes, he's very likable.
Got a good luck kiss from his wife Sherry just before bowling tonight.
Has a 4-pin.
So now back to Bruce Carter. His earnings this year, just a little over $26,000.
Added 13 to that, it would be a pretty good year this year.
Certainly would.
A little better shot. There it is. He gets heavy finger lift on the ball. Has a nice turn, good roll. Down 22 pins with a double. Can cut into that margin, cut it down to 12 if he can double up here. There we see it, 49 to 27. 22 pins. Bruce working on a strike. Doesn't take a lot of time. He's in the pocket and gets that 4-pin out of there. Nice shot.
Well, after the rocky start, Bruce Carter has settled down and will be working when he bowls in the 5th on a double. Skidmore's lead is now 12 pins. Gary joined the tour full-time midway through 1981.
Has done exceptionally well since he's joined the tour, by the way. Right through the nose, breaks up the split, leaves only the 6-pin. Looks back, somebody disturbed his concentration. He heard something from over to the right. I don't know what it was. He's commenting on it to our tournament director, Harry Golden, right now.
I believe I may have said earlier that it was Bruce Carter's 4th championship round appearance of the year. This is Gary's 4th, and Bruce Carter is appearing in his 2nd championship round.
That's right. Two young players of the future getting a good start in the present.
Well, Gary shakes off the distraction that may have hurt him on his first ball to mark in the 4th. He still has an 11-pin lead. I'll never forget that win he had in Austin, Texas last year.
Exciting,
you know, he won all 4 games, did it the hard way, went right to the end.
Had to strike on the first ball in the 10th to win the final game. It did.
And after that, we all went out and had a big pizza party.
Right. Sets himself very carefully. High again. Doesn't break up the split this time. Leaves the 6-7.
Mike, I don't think we've mentioned it yet, but Gary played all week with a different bowling ball than the one he is using tonight. What a strange time to change bowling balls.
Turns the ball just a little early here and actually pointed his swing, got away from his body, went right through the heart of the pins. Doesn't break it up. In a 1-game match at this situation, he's probably going to go for this. Try and hit the 6-pin on the right. He'll throw hard, try and slide it across. And he makes the split. Great shot.
Accuracy to within 1/4 of an inch from 60 feet away.
Last night, and a great shot by Bruce Carter was the turning point, which pushed him down out of the top 5 into the 6th and alternate position. Mark Williams. Full house here at Satellite Bowl, and just a moment ago they watched the replay of Gary Skidmore's great spare conversion, and they said, son of a gun, he made it on the replay too.
Bruce can take the lead with a strike here. Good lift, good lift. Here it comes. Pretty shot.
Notice Gary Skidmore not looking.
See how low he is? Now he lifts a good lift and turn, right? Comes up right at the end there. Ball's going solid in the 1-3 pocket. All 10 pins right in the pin. He's 1 pin ahead. can increase it to 11 if he can get one more here.
Bruce is a great bowler to string strikes together. He's tied with Steve Wunderlich with 3 perfect games this year. That's best on the PBA Tour.
He shot 1 in this tournament.
That's right.
Last night. Looks good. And, oh! Leaves a solid 7. The pin came off and got the 4, but not the 7.
Mike, of all the approaches we see on the tour, this is certainly one of the smoothest. He almost glides up to the line.
He glides it. He crouches a little bit as he goes over there, bends over, and then comes up right at the end. Gets good lift on the ball.
So
he doesn't shoot the spares on the left in an orthodox manner. He shoots them down the left side here. Not recommended myself, but he does it.
You've got a tight one just past the midway point.
It can't get much tighter. Actually, tied to the pin. Skidmore, who's lost the pocket the last 3 shots. Actually, the last 2. There's his lovely wife, Sherry. A very fine bowler in her own round. Right. Gives this one a little more room. Pretty shot. Pretty shot. Got that ball out to target.
We've already pointed out the relationship between these two. Bruce Carter in the wedding party of Gary Skidmore and his wife, Sherry.
Gary asking for a re-rack, I think, here on lane 75. Yes, we see the 106 apiece in the 5th frame. Skidmore working, though, on the all-important strike. Can take a 10-pin lead with a double.
In just about 2 years on the tour, Gary's done well. His earnings over $100,000.
Gives it room again, and it's not going to make it back. Leaves the 2, 4, 5, 7. Boy, a tough, tough spare. You have to hit this one just perfect. You want to hit between the 2-pin and the 5-pin, but you got to hit it flush enough that you're going to get the 4 and 7 out of there. It's so easy to chop, or it takes a perfect shot to make it. You can make it on the left. Sometimes the players play it that way, but then you chance really going by it.
Well, let's see how he handles it.
And that's what happens. You hit the 2, 4, 5 perfect and leaves the 7 so many times. And he gives the lead to Carter. Carter's ahead by 12 pins, sitting on the bench. And as we've talked about in so many previous shows, it seems that when you open, your opponent comes back and throws that double. We'll see if Carter does that now.
Well, at least the champion does that anyway, right?
See if Carter taking a re-rack on lane 76. He's allowed 3 per game. Each bowler's have 1 so far. Bruce has had the last 4 balls solid in the pocket. Gives it more room. Here it comes. Oh, nice shot. See that good roll he gets on that ball. His ball's really alive when it hits the pins. Now again, this ball comes in sort of half pocket, Alan. Watch the 6-pin, the second one from the right. The ball deflects a little bit, and the 6-pin goes to the wall and gets that 10. And when that happens, you know that the player had good finger lift on the ball. He got the thumb out quickly and lifted up hard with the fingers.
Another re-rack for Carter, his second. And he is one hot bowler. 4 strikes in the last 5 frames.
Big shot here. He's 12 pins ahead, can increase it to 22. Gives it a lot of room. Here it comes. Oh, it blows him apart.
Make that 5 strikes out of 6, and he has really shaken off that open frame that he had in the second.
Certainly has. It took him 2 frames to settle down, and then he's had every ball in the pocket since then.
Nervously, Carter juggles that rosin bag in his hand. Skidmore all of a sudden trails by 22 pins.
See how quickly it can change. He was 23 ahead back in the 3rd frame. Now he's down by 22. High again. Leaves the baby split to 310. And his concentration is just shot. Gary's talking to himself out there. Has to get himself together. He still has an opportunity. There's something bothering him. I don't know what it was. See his swing sometimes gets away from his body. And it's just pointed that shot right at the nose. Boom, 310. Cross lane, have to throw hard and straight at it. He's made one split already. And makes another one now.
Gives the scoreboard an evil eye. Something is bothering him, and we're not quite sure what it is. Get another look at this spare conversion.
Cross lane, watch the ball deflect off the 3-pin into the 10. Perfect shot.
Mike, what about the changing of the balls on the night of a championship round?
It was his decision to make.
To each his own, obviously.
And he decided that this was the best ball for him this evening. Comes in light and doesn't make it. He's just a little short, and he goes high, and he gives it room, and it won't make it back. He leaves the 2-4-5-8, and he's all but handed it to Bruce Carter.
Well, Gary got off to a great start, struck in the first and second frame, and then something went wrong.
He's down 26 pins if he makes the spare. And he's in trouble on it. Gets it on the left. Bruce Carter really in the driver's seat right now. He's rolling along at a 216 pace. The best Gary Skidmore can get is 200, even if he would strike out. So really all Bruce needs to do is just fill one of the last 2 frames, keep a decent count. A strike here would lock it up. Very little time. Well out of the lane, and leaves a 4-9. This match isn't over yet.
Oh boy.
It'll be interesting to see how he plays this right now. If he gets 9 out, it would give him 182 in the 9th frame, which would require him to fill 19 pins in the 10th frame, a spare 9 to lock out Gary Skidmore. If he gets 8 out, then he would have to get a double in the 10th frame to lock him out. So I think he'll play it cozy and go for 9. And that's just what he did. He played it cozy and went for the 9. It's a smart situation and a smart play in this situation. Right now, he still needs to fill 19 pins. He's got 182 in the 9th frame. And if he gets spare 9, he finishes with 201. The best Skidmore can get is 200 even. And there we see it. Gary's got 150 in the 8th frame with a spare up. If he struck out, he would have 170 in the 9th with 3 strikes, 200. Bruce with 182 in the 9th. A strike here would just about do it. Very little time. Gives it a lot of room. It's in the pocket. And a pretty shot. Pretty shot. He leaves a solid 7 in the 6th frame, 4-9 in the 9th frame. He's just really bowled well in the match. He's bowled the better game of the 2 players right now.
How rare it is you can leave 2 frames open and win.
Pretty shot right here. Executed perfectly, just solid. Can't throw it any better than that under pressure. Now he needs 9 pins on 2 balls in order to be a winner. Strike here would do it for sure. He's a little high and gets the 9. That's enough right there. He's a winner your first match. That's enough. He'll make the 4-pin and finish with 202. See how he shoots that 4-pin from the left like that, and I can't help but think shooting from there, he misses some of those.
Bruce Carter's final tally, 202, well below his average for the week, 215 plus.
Skidmore finishing it out. Puts it back, light, and carries the light hit. And he's high again on the Brooklyn. Leaves a 6-pin. Gary's not too happy right at this point.
No, he's completely dejected.
And there's Bruce. He's getting his thoughts together for the next match. 3 more wins for his first title.
Well, he really turned it on from the 3rd frame right to the very end.
Gary finishes with 190 even.
And so it is to talk to the 35-year-old veteran when he defeated Bob Handley by 11 pins, and that was from the top position. And so Bruce Carter will be the first to step onto the approach. The formalities of the handshake complete. He'll be bowling on the left lane, which is lane 75.
See Bruce putting his hand in the ball there, right underneath it, finger spread. Again, very little time. Very nice shot. Pretty shot.
Carter off to a great start. And will sit down thinking of a strike in the first frame.
Tom had a very good shot in practice. He was throwing a lot of strikes in practice, playing right around the 11th board.
His average 217.1.
Swinging it out. Tom likes to swing the ball. Comes in light. Ooh, almost had a 7-10 in the pocket. Gets the 10-pin out of there. Leaves only the 7-pin.
His approach is very different.
Pushes the ball way out, 5-step. Now he opens the shoulder here. His hand actually opens up and he brings it back around. No slide at all. Absolutely no slide. He plants at the end, comes around the ball, throws very soft speed and a big hook. And has the 7-pin. Tom, in 1978, it looked like it was going to be off and running as one of the premier players in our game. And had a big year.
He was second on the money list that year.
Right, made almost 90,000. Holds the ball on the side, fingers together. See that index finger not spread at all. That's the way he's always played. Gives a lot of room. Here it comes. Ooh, just soft. 4, 6, 10. The ball was in the pocket until 2 feet in front of the pins and just snapped. It just snapped. All he was soft with this shot. He throws slow anyway. It looks good right here, and then wham, it snaps right there. And he gets the full penalty, the 4, 6, 10. He'll go for 2. Tom never does throw very hard, even at spares. 9 out. Shakes his head.
He knew it was a tough one.
Yeah, he thought it was a strike when he let it go.
And for the second time tonight already, Bruce Carter has been handed the lead while sitting down. 14-pin lead for him as he bowls in the second. Bowled a perfect game here this week.
Interestingly enough, he bowled it on the pair right next to our television pair, and he set that one short, and he goes Brooklyn, and he gets away with it. Big break. Goes from a 14-pin lead to 24, and if he can take advantage of that break, can increase it to 34. Just lost his concentration here. Turns the ball early and is way left. He's 3 boards left of his target. Hit the 3rd arrow. He stands up immediately, and it goes on the over on the Brooklyn and carries.
He gave up early on that ball.
He's thankful for that. Gives this one more room. Looks good. Looks good. Pretty. That's the way you get those breaks. You got to take advantage. Just like a fumble in a football game, something like that. You got to take advantage of those breaks.
Already, Bruce Carter has had his best finish of the year, eclipsing what he did at the Rolaids Open, and he's trying to do better than that. Here's Hudson, already down by 34 pins.
Gives it a lot of room. Here it comes, light, and gets that 10-pin out of there. Tommy throws a tremendous strike ball when he gets it in the pocket. That soft speed keeps those pins low, and he gets them dancing. See him open that shoulder, left arm out for balance. Rotates that hand around the ball way out to about the 8th board. Here it comes. Watch the 6-pin. Goes to the sideboard and snaps that 10 out of there. There we see the score. 26 with a strike working. Carter perfect through 3. More speed. Better shot. Comes in light and doesn't get the 10-pin out of there. Just hits soft. Hitting that in-between area. What it means, though, is that Bruce Carter, even if Tommy Hudson converts this, is still ahead by 34 pins and can increase that lead the next time he steps up. Tommy breaks the wrist, throws it straighter at the 10-pin. And has the spare. Bruce is looking at that rack, thinking about asking for a re-rack. Looked at it again. decides he's going to shoot it. Right now is the time that you want to just put your opponent away. He's staggering on the rope, so to speak, and he can apply the killer instinct here if he has it. Is it room? Oh, he sure has it. 44 pins ahead. And remember, he shot a 300 earlier in the week, last night, in fact. So it's a possibility with this man, the way he throws strikes. Asking for a re-rack on lane 75. Looking at it here, it looks like the 3-pin was in just a little bit. Comes down.
He has been.
I don't think he likes this one either, but he's going to shoot it.
He took 2 re-racks in the first game.
There were a lot of corner pins this week. 10 pins, 4 pins. Well, gave it a lot of room. Too much room. And broke it all the way down for only the 2-pin.
Well, the string ends
at 4.
And he almost got that one, too.
Yes, he did. He almost got a break on that one, too. Easy spare. Should have no trouble with the 2-pin. And, boy, I better not open my mouth too soon. He just barely got the 2-pin.
By the smallest of margins, Bruce Carter converts the spare in the 5th frame. It is a 43-pin lead for him over Tommy Hudson.
More speed on that shot. He's just been a hair soft. He needs to just pick up that speed a little bit more.
And again, as with Bruce, this is Tommy's best finish of the year.
Right. Right over about the 11th board. And this time he didn't know whether it was going to hold or break through for that 4-6. He throws that big hook. It hooks at the back end of the lane. There's the difference. 43 pins, 109 to 66. Tommy can cut it to 33 if he can double. Has to get something going quickly. Give it a lot of room. And solid 10-pin. 2 10-pins in a row on lane 75.
That ball looked perfect.
Interesting, Tom, at the last minute, switched the lanes that he was picking to finish on. He was going to finish on 76, and he switched it at the last minute to finish on 75, and he hasn't had a strike yet on lane 75. 2 10-pins and a split. Cross lane at the 10-pin. Has the spare. Not much he can do. He threw that ball very well. The 10-pin just wouldn't cooperate. Still 43 pins. Bruce working on a spare. I'm reading here in our bio sheet that Bruce was junior bowl. He rolled 300 when he was 16 years old.
You notice also that was the year he decided to turn pro.
Yes. And as he leaves the 2-4-5-8 here, he was the 4-time Austin City champion, the 1980 Texas State All Events and Singles champion.
And the team champion from Texas State.
In 1982. So he's a lot of good bowlers in Texas. He's done very well down there.
Well, it says he idolized Marshall Holman and Mark Roth. I'd say he captured more of Marshall's style than he did of Mark Roth's
I think
style.
you're right. Yeah, there is a similarity, isn't there? Both kind of crouch going up there. Good turn on the ball. And he chops the 2-4-5-8. Leaves the 5-pin. Puts Hudson back in the match. Right over about the 3rd arrow, the ball snaps right here and takes the 2-pin straight back. Remember, those pins are 12 inches apart back there at the back end of the lane, 60 feet away. They look so close, it's worse than
well, they do.
But when you get back there, there's a lot of distance between them, and it's easy to chop them. And suddenly that 43-pin lead now is reduced to 28.
As Carter takes his 2nd re-rack of the match once again on the left lane. Let's see if he's able to shake off that open 6th.
Well, he had 2 open frames in the first match. Looks good.
No problem.
No problem, right. He turns around this ball so nicely. Gets to 3 o'clock with lifts with his fingers. And there's the result right there. The ball just kept finishing. Did you see it just keep finishing right into the pit?
Well, Tommy's won some money with 10 titles.
Gives this one more room. It's coming back light and gets the 10-pin. The pin coming off the other wall. I have no idea what pin that was, but it bounced around and went over. It might have been the head pin.
And if you don't know, I have no idea.
It probably was the head pin. Let's see if we can see it here. He really gives this one room. It goes way out to about the 7th board. Now watch the head pin. Let's see if that's the pin. It goes to the side, and it is the head pin. It bounces all the way around, back across, and boom.
Boy, the head pin took a journey on
It
that
sure
one,
didn't it? There you see the difference. 28 pins right now in favor of Carter. But Tommy Hudson can cut it to 18 if he can double. This one looks good. And he gets the 10 pin out of there. A little cheer from Hudson.
Tommy Hudson is going to make this one interesting.
Well, he struck out a lot of games there the last 3 or 4 games to win these matches and to pull games out.
But you see him sitting back there. He is pumped up. The heart is beating again.
Certainly is. There's life. 18 pins. Bruce working on a strike. Looks good. Oh, that's the way to answer a double of your opponent. I'll tell you what. Right back up to 28. This is his best shot, I think, in 2 games. Right over about the 12th or 13th board. The ball just arcs perfectly. And that 7-pin danced a little bit, but it went down. 28 pins ahead. You see the difference. Both players on doubles. Bruce trying to increase it to 38. He can get one more. He's high, and he breaks down the 4-9.
Oh boy.
Breaks down the 4-9. See him wave his hand to the right there. He's trying to steer that ball to hold. Stop hooking, it said.
Mike, there's such a different atmosphere here compared to the other bowling centers. The ceiling here is, oh, I don't know, 50 feet high. Most of the other bowling centers we visit, the ceilings are much lower. This has a much different feeling to it.
It's like a theater type atmosphere almost there, yeah. Again, he shoots the 4-pin from the left. The last time, he just barely nicked it. He has it solid this time. But right now, Tommy Hudson is still alive. He's down 27 pins and can cut it to 17 if he can strike here. Right now, Bruce Carter is going at a 2:23 pace if he would strike spare in the 10th. And Hudson can strike all the way out for 2:26. Has to have this one, though. Has to have this one in the 9th. And comes in light, gets that light hit. That cuts it to 17. Now he picked the finish on lane 75. Made that decision at the last moment. Now he's watching the ball. He's saying, come on, get up there and carry. All right. He has to take them one at a time. Right now the heart is really pounding. He asked for a re-rack. Tommy has a way of shaking his hands to try and keep himself loose.
There he goes.
It's a very good method. Gets that hand loosened up. He looks very relaxed. This one cuts it to 7. Oh, gave it a lot of room. It's not going to make it, is it? No. He just didn't throw that one as well as he had the others. Tried to steer it in with body English. He went over the top of this ball right at this point, over and threw it very slow, and tried to steer it in with body English and wave it in, but it wouldn't get up there. If he makes this and finishes with a strike, he would finish with 205. And Bruce Carter would just need to show up and get a good count in the 10th frame. He could open and still win. Tom has the spare.
He pulled out all the stops on that little body English dance, didn't he?
He certainly did.
He was all over the dance floor.
Looked like some new kind of dance there, yeah. There's the shot he was looking for right there. Blows him out of there, finishes with 205. And right now, if I'm adding up right, Bruce Carter needs 7 to be a winner. 7 and then not even make the spare, he would be a winner. He's high, and that's enough right there. Even though he's split, he has enough pins that he's going to win his second match and go on to face Brian Voss.
That doesn't have to look pretty. You just have to have more pins than the other guy.
That's right. If it's 151 to 150, it's enough to win. As we saw in Canada when the 150 game did win the championship. Cross lane at the 310, the baby split. And has it. So he had 2 opens in the first match and still won. 1 open in this match and could have missed that and still won it. So he's exciting. He throws a lot of strikes, but he plays a little tit-tat-toe too. He has some circles and some X's up there.
You know, as long as you go first, you should never lose at tic-tac-toe.
Yes, I did know. It's a no-win. If you saw War Games, you know you can't win at that game. 220 even. He finishes, wins by 15 pins.
Bruce Carter to start things off in the left of the 2 lanes that we call the TV pair, as we continue to come to you from the 84-lane complex known as Satellite Bowl.
Big match for both these young players here. Bruce comes in light and leaves the 2-4-5-8. He took no practice shots in between. And
Brian Voss tossed a few.
Yeah, well, Brian, see, the rule says that the player that has just finished the game gets none on the pair that they're bowling on. But if he wants to go to the adjacent lane, he can get as many as the player coming on has. So Bruce could have gone over there and taken 3 or 4 because the player coming on is allowed 4.
He beat Tommy Hudson 220 to 205. His second win, looking for 3.
Chopped this in the last match. And, ooh, almost left the 4-pin this time. I keep saying that one of these times on that spare, I'm going to go through and I'm going to take out the 2-8 and leave the 4-5, but hasn't happened yet.
I hope I'm not there to see it. Brian's average 216 this week.
Right over the second arrow. Then light and leaves the 2-4-5. Interesting, he had all 4 of his practice shots in the pocket. And that first shot when they turn the lights on is sometimes just a little bit tougher. Brian, who switched to 4 steps this time, pushes the ball and steps right together. The ball's right in time. Follow through up. Just bent over a little bit more than I'd like to see at the waist.
Great extension, though.
Yes, he has good lift with his fingers and makes the spare from the left perfectly.
Conversion for Brian Voss. He's had a very interesting life. He grew up in Anchorage, Alaska, then moved to Bismarck, North Dakota at the age of 8. And graduated from there and went into the service. Spent 4 years in the Army where he was the all-Army champion.
Must have taken on some pretty good competition there.
Spent late nights in the barracks knocking over bullets.
Right over the second arrow again, right in the pocket. Bam! Nice shot. Bruce is asking for a re-rack on lane 76. 4-step player now. Free swing. Good loft. Good finger lift that time. The ball makes the perfect move and got the perfect result. Bruce likes this rack.
Bruce has had a fine average on these 2 particular lanes. Just under 230 on the TV pair.
He's high. On the Brooklyn. Breaks down the 10-pin, leaves the 6-9. Just short with that shot. He's aiming about the 12th board or so, and he got that one closer to the 3rd arrow. And he just made a bad shot. He's watching that target, and he knows as soon as he let it go, he stands up and turns that head and says, "Bruce, what are you doing?"
Well, now he knows what he has to do.
6-9, not a difficult spare. Ooh, as I open my mouth again.
Turn on the fan and blow those pins over.
Oh, that 9-pin just fell over there. You can chop that spare, but with a hook like Bruce throws, I didn't think it would have any chance to chop it. My ball, yes, but Bruce's?
He trails by 2 pins as he bowls in the 3rd frame. His best game this week on these 2 lanes was 2.56.
Here's this one, more rooms coming in. Solid. Nice shot. He's really throwing the ball well on lane 75. Last couple shots on 76 he's had trouble with.
Now, Brian says he practices 150 games a week. That is a lot of bowling.
I can't even think of how much bowling that is. If he bowled 10 games an hour, that's 15 hours. Gives us a lot of room. Just doesn't make it, and leaves only the 2-pin. He's aiming around the second arrow, and he got that one out to about almost the 7th board. Missed 2 or 3 boards to the right. Really was fortunate to get back to get 9. Had a chance to take an early lead there. Shoots the spare from the left. Very little time. Straight at it. Makes it on the left. Kind of gives it a kick.
That's a close one.
Really a nice looking young man, isn't he? So we see there the difference, 2 pins, but Carter's working on the strike. You know, you get on the championship round, you've worked all year to try and make it here, and the game goes so fast, Alan. It's over before you know it. Better shot. And gets the light hit off the wall. He's just rushing just a little bit. Just so anxious here. He doesn't quite get all of this one, but he gets enough with the head in. Goes to the wall and clears out the 4, 5, 7.
He's got to feel confident. Stroke looks good. Bruce Carter down by 2 in the 4th.
Bruce will be thinking to give this ball more room. Further to the right, which he did. It's light, doesn't make it up, and he's a little bit lost on the right lane. Right now he throws it out and it won't make it back, and he sets it short, and it's almost Brooklyn. He leaves the 2-4, and both players are struggling on the right lane right now.
Now, Mike, does Brian maybe have an advantage coming in? The lane conditions to him are fresh. Meanwhile, Bruce has been used to the lanes as they were. Now they change slowly, and
well, you would think the advantage would be with Bruce because he knows exactly what they should be doing. And as he makes the 2-4.
But I'm just wondering, because all of a sudden Bruce seems to have lost whatever magic he had in the previous 2 games. He seems confused. I don't know.
Well, he does on the right lane right now. He has to make the right adjustment on that right lane. Well, as history has been on our telecast recently, what happens is that the dressing again gets carried down by the bowling ball, and the lanes tighten up at the back end of the lane. They don't quite finish as much as they have been. And that could be happening here. He's back in the pocket and gets the 10-pin out of there. As both players are hitting lane 75, 76 is giving them the trouble.
Now, Bruce Carter is back on track. A strike in the 5th frame, but Brian Voss still has a 2-pin lead.
To try and loosen up. Closer to that second arrow this time. It's still light. Breaks down the 2-4-5 for only the 4-pin as both players continue to struggle with lane 76.
You said a moment ago, Mike, that he's a good-looking guy, and he certainly is. Well, without getting really into detail, some women in Venice, Florida thought he was pretty good-looking, too. They had a best buns contest, and you're looking at the winner.
Shoots the 4-pin from the left. And almost misses it on the left. Interesting the way some of these younger players shoot spares. It's very unorthodox. Certainly not the way I've been teaching on my tips on USA. Maybe they haven't been watching. Is that it?
Well, he might not get cable on the road.
So we see the difference. 2 pins. Carter working on the strike. Voss is picked to finish on lane 75, and it seems to be his favorite.
His best tour finish tonight.
It's light again. And it comes back and leaves the 10-pin. Boy, did that ball finish in a hurry. He keeps waiting for it to do that on lane 76, and it never makes it back. And it's a 1-pin match if he makes the spare. Cross lane at the 10-pin, hard and straight. He has it. Right now, Bruce is down by 1 pin. He's asking for a re-rack on lane 76. Can take the lead for the first time in the match if he can double on 76 here. A lot of tension, a lot of pressure on these 2 young players because they know how much this game means. This gives them the opportunity to win their first PBA title if they can win this match. He's short again. High. Leaves the 3-6-10. He just lost on this right lane. He's not giving it room, and when he does, it won't make it back. This comes from being uncertain of what to do. He turns early, see the ball hit the third arrow. He's trying to get it out about at least 2 boards further right through the heart of the pins. He's fortunate he didn't get a split. As it is, he has a difficult spare, but he didn't lose any count. If he can make the spare, he's still only 1 pin behind, as both players are searching for their first double. And has the spare. Nice conversion.
Brian Voss looking up at the scoreboard. And what he sees is this.
Both players working on spares. 1 pin, 99 to 98. As Bruce takes another re-rack on lane 75. Wants to keep that count up. This is his good lane. Keep that pressure on your opponent by having that strike up there, the opportunity to double. Somebody yelled a little bit quick, and gets the 10 pin out of there. Bruce comes back and talks to Joe Hutchinson, who's sitting right behind both players there.
Yeah, somebody yelled, as if on purpose almost, right just at that split second before you release the ball.
I thought it might have bothered him. Brian seems like his heart's beating 1,000 beats per minute. He's up there so quickly. On the right lane. Gives it a lot of room again, and it makes it back this time. He might have made a move to the right a little bit to get that ball back on lane 76. Playing right on the second arrow here. See that shoulder open up, then he comes back. Pretty good follow through. He's looking at it. Is it going to make it up? Come on. Yes. Wasn't too hard to read those lips.
No. Now back to Brian live in the 8th, up by 1.
On his good lane. Can take an 11-pin lead. Right over the target. Light. And doesn't get the 7-pin out of there. His thumb hung in the ball just a hair. Didn't get the clean release that he was looking for. That's what pressure does. It just makes it sometimes so tough to throw that ball the way you can throw it normally and the way you want to throw it. Let's see if he throws it straight at this spare too, or whether he hooks at it. It takes no time. Straight, has the spare.
Sometimes it's better just to get up and throw it. Don't think about it.
I guess so. I guess so.
Boy, things are tight. Bruce Carter now in the 8th. As Voss checks out the scoreboard again, he sees he has a 1-pin lead. Carter having bowled a 202 and a 220 for a 211 average with 12 strikes. And you can see Tommy Hudson in the background. He's up on the top row there, right in front of me.
Over the third arrow, he moved in a little bit. And is he going to get the 10 pin? No, pin came across there. He moved in on the lane. He made an adjustment with his feet. He's been hitting the third arrow anyway. He decided, well, I might as well move in there and aim at that. He's watching that pin. He's thinking, is it going to carry? Is it going to hit it? It didn't. We don't get to see the end of his reaction, but
actually that was pretty good because it was a blank stare of disbelief.
Cross lane at the 10 pin, no mistakes. Got to have this spare. And he has it. Big shot coming up the 9th frame. He's 1 pin down. If he strikes in the 9th, he's potential 218. Brian Voss is potential 219 if he strikes all the way out. Got to have this strike in the 9th to save the count and just set yourself up for the 10th. What a match they had when they bowled the first time.
Boy, look at that score.
Right. As
Bruce Carter was a winner, 279 to 257.
Right.
So Brian Voss bowled a 257 and lost.
Looks good. It looks good. And he gets the 10 pin out of there. Keeps himself alive. Coming down to the most important frames of these young players' career right now. Boy, he makes a nice shot here. Really does. Kept that head down right over the target. He's just saying, get that 10 pin. Carry it. Smacks those hands.
This may be the tightest match we've ever seen on USA. Never has there been a difference of more than 2 pins.
All the way through. And it's coming in. It's light. Gets that light hit. Keeps his 1 pin advantage. Wow. So important. The crowd murmuring in the background. Everybody knows the score. The overhead score projectors are clearly visible to the entire crowd. Coming up for the most important 10th frame of both of these young players' career. There we see it. One pin. You look at that score all the way through. As our statistician Larry Lobb has pointed out, never more than 2 pins separating them. Gave it a lot of room. Was it going to make it? No, it doesn't. He breaks it down, leaves the 2 pin. Just was hard to make that shot under the pressure. He's talking to himself, and he needs to get himself together, make this spare. He just didn't get the lift. He let it go, and he's hoping here. It's just hope. He knows it's not going to make it, or he doesn't think it is. Actually, he's got to be pleased that he got 9 out of that shot. Has an easy spare, and makes it. Now, if he strikes, Alan, that forces Bruce Carter to get the first one in the 10th. If he would get 9, we could have a possibility of a tie. No doubles in this match by either player. Only 3 pins lost in count between the 2 of them. Big shot here. Looks good. Coming in light and gets it for 199. Forces Bruce Carter to get the first one in the 10th. Throws his last shot. This is what he wanted on the first ball. Come on, baby. All right.
He needed it. He got it. But is it enough?
Is it enough is the question.
And that's what he is thinking right now.
Bruce Carter, who has not struck on lane 76 the entire game, must strike to go on to bowl for his first PBA title.
It's at a moment like this when you realize there's no defense in bowling.
He's over the target. He hit the target. And is he going to get it? No. What a bad break. Oh. There was a pin that leaned on that 7 pin. He trusted it. Oh, what a nice shot he made under the pressure. What a nice shot he made under the pressure. Kept that head down. He knows it's light. He knows it has a chance. And there's his reaction. Oh.
Well, Bruce Carter has certainly ridden the emotional roller coaster in this tournament. It was, and Brian Voss has won this match and moved into the title round sitting down. But Bruce won that with the domino strike to move into the championship round, and now on the other end of a weird shot.
And there's almost the same hit, and this time it carries on the fill ball. As all bowlers on the PBA Tour know, that fill ball, oh.
Brian Voss, who captured Bruce Carter in the 3rd match, 199 to 198, will bowl first.
And a lot of the fans don't know that the practice shots are over and that we're actually started. Pete McCordick has chosen to finish on lane 75. Brian is a little high, trips the 4 pin out of there. You know, sometimes what happens when you have a tight match like that where you can't get a double, the next game you break loose and throw a lot of strikes. Doesn't always happen, but sometimes it does.
We've been watching Pete McCordick in practice. He's been having his share of trouble finding the track on these lanes. Let's see how he gets off.
Well, he's going to play the right lane closer to the 2nd arrow and play the left lane closer to the 3rd. Good shot on the right lane. Start the match. Gets a light strike. Excellent shot to start the match. Pete's a very control player, muscle player here. Controls that swing and the approach all the way through and then snaps it through at the end. Good balance, good follow through. So important to get out to a double right away and get that lead. Pete's an experienced player. Puts those fingers in first. See how he cups that wrist underneath? Weight of the ball in both hands. Over the 3rd arrow. It's in the pocket. And gets the 10th pin out of there. Great shot to start it out. That's the way to come out after your first title.
We receive a biographical sheet on all the bowlers, and there is one line that the bowlers fill in, and it's their bowling goal, their goal with their bowling career. And both of these bowlers have that line filled in very simply: to win.
Well, that's perfectly natural. And there's the double he looked for the whole first game. Of the two players right now, Brian Voss seems to have a better ball reaction. His ball reacts very well to this pair. He throws it out a little bit. When he throws it well, it makes it back. McCordick has to seem like to split the board a little bit more and be a little more accurate. Can take the lead. Right over the second arrow. He's there. And gets the 10-pin out of there.
And immediately Brian Voss puts the squeeze on Pete McCordick.
And Pete McCordick's asking for a re-rack on the right lane. Four-step player. His swing is loosening up right over the target. He got that clean release he was looking for the whole first game. Watch the 6-pin. Stay low and get that 10. Pete's got to answer the challenge. Really an important shot right here. To stay with him. Right over the second arrow. He's a little high. Breaks it up. Leaves the 6-10. Just looks at his hand. He must have turned the ball slightly early. It's so hard to do when you're just trying to fit the ball in on the pairs. He switches balls to use a harder ball. Cross lane at the 6-10. Has the spare. Falls 12 pins behind.
You see that Pete McCordick bowls with 2 rings on for perfect games that he has bowled, of which he has bowled 7 in his career.
There you see the difference. 48 in the second with a spare working for Pete McCordick. Brian Voss perfect through 3 frames, 30 in the first. Of the 2 lanes, Pete likes lane 75 better. Over the third arrow, gives it too much room. Doesn't make it back, breaks down the 2-4-5-7 for the 4-5-7. Has a split, a bad break. He has to fit this ball right between the 4 and the 5 and hit the 4 full enough that it'll get the 7. Sometimes you can get the 4 and a 5 and the ball will wrap around, or the 4-pin will wrap around the 7. Difficult spare conversion. He has a chance. No, too much. But by the 5-pin, he's open, and the floodgate is open.
Well, let's see if Brian Voss can sail on through.
Well, he's up 26 pins, can increase it to 36 if he gets one more. Oh, he really threw this one out. And leaves the 8-pin. But he threw that 2 or 3 boards right at target. He just has a much better ball reaction on the pair than Pete McCordick has. But by not striking, Pete still has some life. Moves left, he's going to throw straight at it. No hook at all. Has the spare.
He almost lunged a little bit on that last throw.
Well, the adrenaline is really flowing right now. He's moving very quickly. He's getting up there quickly, not taking much time. He doesn't want to finesse any of those spares. He's throwing hard right at them. Right over the second arrow. Is it going to make it? Yes, it does. He has a wonderful ball reaction out there right now. Keeps himself 26 pins in the lead, or 25 pins in the lead. Watch this ball break late on the lane. The head pin will go to the wall, come back, and just clean them all up.
And so Brian Voss and Pete McCordick looking for PBA title #1. And he'll be bowling in the 5th. Al Troutwig along with Mike Durbin. Championship match from Satellite Bowl in the Greater Detroit Open.
Pete's currently 43rd on our 1983 money standings. It's back in the pocket and gets that right one this time. As the crowd starts yelling, Pete. Perfect shot right here. on balance all the way, just solid in the 1-3 pocket, trying to have some determination. This is a big shot, probably the biggest shot in the match for him right now. He's down 25 pins, can cut it to 15 if he can double. He's got to put some pressure on Brian Voss. Interesting, Pete defeated Brian. They bowled each other twice, and Pete won both times, easily. Over the third arrow, it's light, didn't make it up. He thought he threw the shot well. It leaves the 2-4-5-8. The ball just would not make the turn.
Just trying to imagine what Pete McCordick is thinking. 11 years on the PBA tour.
He's got to make the spare. He's got to keep himself in the match. You never know. Your opponent could open. Something could happen. You've got to keep yourself in the match. Tough spare. And he's in trouble. And it's almost all over. It's almost all over. It's a tough spare to begin with. He threw hard straight at the 2-pin. It hooks right here and chops that. We've seen that before. Bruce Carter did it. Gary Skidmore missed the 2-4-5-7. Brian Voss in commanding position. He's back in the pocket. Oh, it snapped through, and he leaves the 3-6-7-10. He just eased up on the speed. I thought the ball was going to be solid, and it turned left. He thinks it's in the pocket. He's watching it. It looks like it's going to be good, and then all of a sudden it snaps, and he grabs his hair. He's 37 pins ahead. And 8 out. Gives him 117 in the 5th, 125 in the 6th frame. And it's suddenly a 23-pin match, and McCordick still has life. Oh, that first title is so hard to win. Right now, Brian Voss has got it in his grasp. If we see the score, 125 to 102, but he feels it almost slipping away from him. He was so aggressive the first 5 frames. He's high again and leaves the 3-9-10. Another tough spare. 2 splits in a row. He eased up on the speed that time and aimed the ball at the pocket instead of just letting it go. Right here, he just eases up. His follow through goes to the right, and it hooks right now, and it's in trouble. It's a tough split. This is possible, but you have to, the ball has to hit both the 3 and the 9, yet deflect into the 10. It's a tough split to make. He has a chance. He has a chance. Oh, and he's 9 out. Gives him 134 in the 7th. And suddenly, it's down to a 12-pin match. If McCordick can get a double, he is right back there. If he'd have made that spare, he'd be right there.
The best Pete McCordick could have possibly wished for was 2 open frames from Brian Voss, and he got it.
He never thought that would happen, believe me. He never thought that would happen. And that's how to respond right there. Interesting, he picked to finish on the left lane because he thought he liked it better, but now he's finding the right lane. It'll be interesting also to see if he stays in close to the 3rd arrow now. He's been light twice in a row. He's looking down at the approach, doesn't know what to do on this left lane. He thought he made a good shot the last shot, and the ball didn't make it. And now he's trying to decide, should I move a board to the right? Will the ball go high if I do that? He's trying to make that decision. It's such a hard decision to make, and then make a good shot. Big shot right here. 8th frame. He's high. He's high. And he breaks down the split, leaves the 3-6-10. He's got to make this spare and keep himself in the match. He just didn't know what to do. He knew it was high as soon as he let it go. He stands up, hoping it'll go Brooklyn. Now he's seen move his hands that way. He's saying, it doesn't hook, and it does hook.
Switches balls again.
Has the spare. Now we'll see if Brian Voss can get himself back together as he quickly picks up the ball. No time at all. Hit the nose twice the last 2 frames. What kind of an adjustment will he make? More speed, and he's light. Breaks down the 2-4-5, leaves only the 2-4. An easy spare. The 2-4-5 could have been tough. This is going down to the 10th frame, I think. I really do. McCordick looking on, trying to figure out what to do in that left lane. Voss now moving left and going to throw straight at the 2-4. And almost chopped the 2 off the 4. Has the spare.
Oh, my.
Still 12 pins ahead. Still 12 pins ahead.
If not simply for his confidence, the next ball Brian Voss throws will be the most important of his PBA career. Right now he leads by 12.
Yeah, we see it 134 to 122. It's important to strike here to keep your lead over 10 pins. Maintain that count. He gives this one more room. It's not going to make it. And he leaves. What is that? That is the 2-4-6-10. I've never seen that left before. And suddenly, if he misses this, Pete McCordy goes in the lead if he doesn't make this.
Somebody just yelled from the crowd, how do you make that?
The way you make that is you have to hit the 2 pin on the left and slide it over into the 6-10. It is possible. I think that Marshall Holman once made this in Miami. He's got a chance. No, too much. And he's 7 out. That gives him 157 in the 9th frame. Pete McCordick has gone into the lead by 5 pins. Unbelievable turn of events here as Voss has opened 3 out of the last 4 frames. Pete McCordick has had an opportunity to have his title handed to him. If he can take advantage, he'll never have a better opportunity, Alan. Never.
I think nerves got the better of Brian Voss.
Oh, it's so hard. Believe me, it is so hard.
Now let's see what Pete can do with it.
He's light. He's light. 2-4-5-8. He gives it right back on a spare. Oh, what a match this is. What a match this is. If he makes the spare, he is 1 pin ahead. As he clenches his left fist, he's missed it once already. What's he going to do at it now? Oh, this is almost a repeat of the Molson Challenge here.
Well, you almost want to say, doesn't anybody want to win this thing?
They want to, but they want to too badly. That's the thing. Tough spare. He's got to go boldly for it. He can't get short on it. And, oh, he just gets it. Oh, he slaps his hands together. Woo!
Well, you said it would come down to the 10th frame, and indeed it will. 1 pin.
What's he going to do on the left lane now? He is 1 pin ahead. A strike on the first ball is all important. A strike on this ball can win his first PBA title.
Larry, what was the biggest lead? 37 pins, was it, for Brian Voss? Unbelievable. And then he opened 3 of the next 4 frames.
The most important shot of Pete McCordick's 11-year career right now. He's really nervous, but he's thrown it well. It's not going to make it, though. Breaks it down, gets 9. Leaves only the 2 pin. He's got to make the spare. Again, he's shaking his hands back and forth at the blade. Goes one way and then the other. It either hooks or it doesn't hook. He's got to make the spare, though, which he should have no trouble making the 2 pin. He chopped it twice, or almost twice once.
This place is packed and everybody's
Everybody's buzzing. Everybody is buzzing. The crowd is just alive. Everybody feels the pressure. Has the spare easily. Now, we have a chance, an actual chance of a tie here. He must strike on this fill ball. He's had 1 strike on the left lane. The balls keep sliding out.
Tommy Hudson, who lost earlier, sitting in front of us saying, well, I'm glad I'm not in this game.
No, he's saying, I wish I was in this game, is what he's saying.
Maybe not in this situation.
Pete shakes his head. I think he's going to go right back and just try and drill it right at the pocket. He's high, breaks it down, gets 9. Brian Voss needs to fill 20 in the 10th frame to win his first PBA title. 176 Pete finishes with. Brian Voss needs to fill 20, 19, and we would have a tie. A strike and a spare does it. A spare and a strike does it. He has to have a strike somewhere to win. As the crowd is still murmuring in the background, Brian takes very little time. And it's there, it's there. He got it. Now he needs a spare, which 3 out of the 4 frames from the 6th to the 9th he was unable to do. A spare or a strike on this shot, and Brian Voss has his first PBA title.
His palms are sweating. And I think you can understand why. And look at the sweat on Pete McCordick.
He's hoping for a tie now. That's the best he can hope for. It's a roll-off. And he's high. He's high. And we're going to have a tie. He's going to have, he's leads the 4-10. He's going to have to go for one and play safe. He can't take a chance to go for the spin. He's going to have to go for the 4-pin, make that, and we'll have a 176 tie, a 9th and 10th frame roll-off. And he has the 1-pin. We have a tie. It's a 9th and 10th frame roll-off. Pete McCordick will start it on lane 75.
Brian Voss staring up at the news, and this is what he sees. 176 all. We will play the 9th and 10th frame roll-off.
And it should go right into it. No hesitation, no time limit. There's no 3-minute intermission like with overtime in football or anything of that nature. Pete McCordick is back on lane 75 that he has not been able to strike on since the 2nd frame of his only game.
It's almost unfair that they have to wait for their first title like this.
Gave it too much room. Leaves the washout. 1-2, 4-10. He went highlight. This lane just has destroyed him. He's had his opportunity and has not been able to take advantage of it. He's got to make this now. He has to make this washout. Hit the head pin on the left. Send the head pin into the 10-pin. He's counting the boards now, trying to figure out how to do it. Too much. No. Oh. 9 out. Immediately, Voss is 11 pins ahead.
But remember, Brian has already thrown
4 opens in 6 times, yeah. Pete just is so disconsolate right now. And looks good. And that's the one he wanted in the 2nd frame. The 2nd one in the 10th, that's the one he was looking for.
What is he thinking?
Made a nice shot here. Of course, it's, come on, baby, he's saying, carry. If Brian Voss strikes on this ball, it's virtually all over.
We've said that before.
Tie, 3-6-10. He can still do it. If he makes this and strikes, he finishes with 40. The best Pete McCordick can get is 39. Tough spare, though. 3-6-10 is no bargain. No bargain at all. No time straight. Has the spare. Nice conversion. He didn't take any time to think on that one at all.
No, he did not.
But now he needs to throw a strike to win. It's just that simple. A strike gives him 40, and the best Pete can do is 39. If he gets 9, we could have another tie.
Well, it's the 2nd time in the evening where Brian Voss is holding his first title in his right hand.
And it's in the pocket. And the 10 pin. We still have a chance. Solid 10. The best McCordick can do is tie. He needs 3 strikes to tie. As the crowd starts shouting, Pete, Pete. Of the 2 lanes, Pete has hit the right lane better. Far better. No contest. Gave it too much room. It'll never make it. And Brian Voss is the winner. Oh, just a shame. Pete McCordick had his chance and couldn't do it. Throws his rosin bag down. And he learns from Harry Golden that he doesn't need to finish it out. Finishes that. Brian Voss is a winner, 39, and that's it.
So it is the 5th second-place finish for Pete McCordick. A story of happiness and a story of great sadness from Detroit. We'll be back to wrap things up in a moment.
And Brian Voss is the winner. Not the easiest of victories, but he will take it. Going to the roll-off and eventually defeating Pete McCordick, who still remains winless after all those years on the tour. So a story of happiness, and for Pete, we hope that he eventually does it and does it very quickly. With us here is Mr. Dave Van Loozen, and the general manager of Satellite Bowl. You have a check for $13,000 and a mighty big trophy for Brian.
On behalf of Satellite Bowl, I'd like to thank all the Pro Bowlers for showing up this year. We love to have you back. And Brian, congratulations.
Thank you.
The trophy is too big. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so the trophy, I guess we put that down here. Thank you, Mr. Van Loozen. Mike, that was among the wildest of finishes we've ever had on USA.
Well, it reminded me, we're near Windsor. It reminded me of the Windsor finish. Brian, you seemingly had the match locked up, and then all of a sudden in the 6th to the 9th frame, 3 out of 4 opens. What happened there?
You got shaky.
Well, you seemed to overcome it some. Were you still shaky in the roll-off?
Yes. It's the hand starts sweating and it gets to you.
Hold your hand out for me, would you?
My hand?
It seems
Still
pretty
sweating.
steady.
It's still sweating.
It's pretty beat up. But that 13...